Let's talk about the AFLW player who, her free speech means that she has the right to say, I don't want to celebrate a lifestyle that is not in adherence with my religion. However, do we expect the same reaction to be for her what happened with Israel Folau? Because presumably there's the same level of offence that comes with her decision, Bronwyn.
Well, yes, it is. There are great parallels here. And of course, this is the difficulty in a freedom of religion bill or act of parliament. She has the right to say that she doesn't want to wear that shirt. That's her decision. Others have the right to criticise it, and that should have been the case with Israel Folau. He should have been allowed to say what he wanted to say, and others could go out there and criticise it. That's what freedom of speech is. You take on an idea and you debate it. But the idea that somebody had to be punished in the way that Israel Folau was punished went right in the face of that concept of freedom of speech. So I think you'll find, with regard to what's happening with the AFL, is that there will be no fuss. It will be allowed to pass. She won't wear the shirt. She'll go to the game, and that'll be the end of it, which is absolutely in contrast with what happened to Israel Folau. Now, I would like to say that maybe people learned something about how wrong the way he was treated was, but I suspect that's not the case. I suspect there are going to be people who are going to be in pursuit of their own agendas. But the important thing is that freedom of speech is just too precious, and it cannot be allowed to be squashed.
Yeah, Amanda, there are some incredible things that intersect here, which is you want to stand up for somebody's right to do something that is in adherence with their faith. However, you also understand that something like this could be considered to be antagonistic by others. Those that want to argue the finer point will try to say that there's something different about silently refusing to wear a jersey versus posting something on social media, but we're starting to split hairs of hairs here. What does this story tell you about how the early reaction is that that fervour, that fire, that carry-on is not as equal to what happened with Folau?
Well, look, I'm glad the reaction hasn't been as, dare I say it, cruel as it was in the case of Israel Folau, because I don't want this woman to be subjected to that kind of treatment. It really does highlight the dangers that come when sport, which is supposed to be about bringing people together, starts to dabble in matters of politics. Because when it comes to matters of politics, there's always going to be genuinely held divisions. It's the same when those political issues start to touch upon people's deeply held religious beliefs. Sport should stay away from this. I think that is a really important lesson that we should take away from the Rugby Australia experience and now from this example. But I think it also is a good moment to say, if we had the religious discrimination bill in place in this country, we would have legal protection to ensure this woman didn't face prejudice in her ability to continue to be a part of the team just because of a deeply held religious position. And I think that's an important thing to have in place. Yeah,
Bronwyn, the exact opposite of your view. So, ladies, go at it.
We're in simpatico in that we want freedom of speech, Amanda, but I honestly don't think legislating in this area is going to solve the problem. I think it's going to create more problems. I argued very fiercely in the 1988 referendum on a mini Bill of Rights. I argued very fiercely that we should not be legislating that mini Bill of Rights. I said what was in the Constitution was enough. I still hold that view. So I don't think that the legislation as proposed or amended or argued about is going to solve the problem. I think we just have to uphold freedom of speech and be very firm about it.
Yeah, you go, Amanda.
Can I say, Bronnie, I completely agree. I completely agree with you. This is primarily a cultural issue and it is best solved at the level of culture. The best solution for problems that we see around the religious freedom of Australians is to remove the barriers to that expression that exist in other acts. But that's not going to happen in the current political climate. And in circumstances where we can't take down those barriers to people being able to express their religious beliefs without prejudice, then the next best solution is to level that playing field.
Because, Amanda, this is, I mean, again, what I'm interested in about this story is in part the reaction, because it is just this intersection where we saw it with players when it came to Black Lives Matter, that unless everyone took the knee, now taking the knee, of course, is recognition of Black Lives Matter, which, of course, a Marxist organisation doesn't believe in the nuclear family, all of the different reasons. It's one of their key symbols that if you didn't do it, then somehow you were the racist. So, for want of a better term, the peer pressure about it was that if you had any other view than absolute adherence to something, then somehow you were against it. So it's an invidious position that people are put in when she would probably argue, I am not homophobic, but I'm not going to do something that promotes a certain lifestyle. So, and I hate using the term lifestyle. We know it's not lifestyle. It's all, it's the way people are, right? So there's difficulties here for her, but there is difficulties in how it's managed as well. But in the wild west of Twitter, there is no nuance. There is kiss the ring or leave.
Well,
look, Twitter's not a very nice place, and it is a place that is wholly controlled by those who will slap a nasty label on anyone who disagrees. And so I'd like to say that that's not the measure of a free, fair and tolerant society.